with the opening band, this band Flipper, we had to get in their RV, and their tour manager, his wife, had these sick dogs with mange, and we were all laying in the floor, and one of the dogs threw up in Don's mouth while he was asleep, and I woke up and saw it. So that was pretty memorable.
Hi, my name is Matt Gwar. I'm in the band Gwar. We're a theatrical band. We put on a big stage show. So right now we've kind of roughed out our stage presence. We have, I don't know if you can see, we got our drum kit set up. We have our cabinets with our carts over here. So we kind of have a moving, rotating setup that we can change around every day because the venues change sizes every day. So you have to be able to fit it in to different size venues like every day. We're a very prop-oriented band. We have lots of gore effects and monsters that are up on stage. So we travel in these giant road cases here. Let me get this out of your way there. And we prep our costumes in the cases like this. Lady Gaga's right here. She's we do her in the show tonight. She needs to be clean. She was eating the shit that's on her. She has shit on her head. Very funny. But yeah, so normally during the day we'll suss out the club. We'll say, okay, we can do show A or show B where we have to pull out everything that we have in the truck, or like we have to scale it down. Like, oh, we got to cut the giant robot because it's not going to fit because of the ceiling. But today's venue is a really nice, beautiful venue. We got lots of room, so we're going to do the whole show, basically. So everything that you see here will be out on stage, killing, running around, bleeding on the crowd. Yeah. My name is Matt McGuire. I am one of the main performers and lead artists of Gwar. I've basically been doing it since about 91 is when I joined the band. I met Hunter Jackson and Don Draculich when I was in high school, basically. I'd go to the shows and hang out with them, and that's how I met them. But when I went to college, that's when I finally joined the band down in Richmond, Virginia. That's where the band's based out of. So after I met those guys, I've been doing Gwar ever since. So that's 20 some odd years now.
A lot of times when the album is being developed, Dave has a very strong say. He'll have a concept for the whole album and kind of lay it out. And then as a person that's more pragmatic and knows how to build things, we'll suggest, what about this or that? Or I think that would be doable. That's totally not doable. And then everyone chimes in, and then there's this big, ridiculous thing that could never be done. And then we have to slowly say, like, okay, well, we've got enough money to do this. This is more timely. And there's a couple revisions, I think the strength is the amount of creative people involved that I think, well, what about this giant monster coming out from here, and it represents that. My name's Bob Gorman, and I'm secretary of Slavepit Incorporated, but I'm also the shop foreman, nuts and bolts as far as receipts and money and that kind of stuff. And I'm also co-stage manager on tour, so a historian of the group. Here's the Queen of England. I made this for Sharon Osbourne when we were doing a festival because she wouldn't let us be on Ozfest. So we made a Sharon Osbourne as kind of a protest. And these were her kits, but we reused them for the Queen of England. And basically she comes out and these get ripped off. And it's just an effect we can use night after night after night. It's pretty low tech because it's high tech in the sense that we use a lot of really good materials and stuff like that, but our stuff has to work, over and over and over again. So we have to, go out for months at a time. This thing gets soaking wet, it gets thrown in a box. The next night you pull it out, you got to get it back together. So it's low tech in the sense that it works every night, and it doesn't require a lot of moving parts. So we've really kind of refined how we do things as what's the coolest thing we can do with the least amount of things that can get broken. Because if it can get broken, it definitely will. Today, I had to do a repair on the foot.
I had a blowout on this guy. But these guys are really old, so please don't don't judge. They are very, very old. These, I think we made these originally in '96, and we've just been modifying them. So I had to go through and hot glue and toenail 2 screws into this piece of plastic, and it finally gave way. But you know, whatever, how many years that is, 11, 12, something like that.
We beat our stuff up pretty bad, but you know, the way we build things is really, you know, only applicable to like us and maybe haunted houses. So, you know, Hollywood makes things completely different. It's got to look really pretty for one shot, and then
Exactly.
you know, they can throw it away. But our stuff holds up pretty well for, you know, all the abuse it takes in the months of touring we do. So, pretty proud of our stuff. Yeah, sometimes the concepts I don't really get as involved in because I'd rather build stuff, and you know, a lot of times most of the times I'm in charge of the receipts. You know, just boring stuff like that, making sure that the money we set aside is there. We don't go over budget. I really like building stuff, you know, so I just like to try and take something that we think couldn't be done and say, well, how can we get a person in there and get it on stage and make it work? So those kind of things, coming up with the ideas, not as much, but trying to make the ideas work on a human being, that kind of challenge is fun to me. Well, it's mostly if they write a song, trying to turn that, much like theater, into something that happens on stage. So really, you know, a lot of times the musicians will have an idea about a character, and we'll try and work that in. So there's a give and take with all the creative people. It's pretty equal, but trying to make it more where it's not just you stick an action into a song and make it work. You come up with the idea as the song is being written. So it's a real cohesive, you know, theater piece as opposed to just a Band-Aid, you know.
Here's Scott Crawl right here. He's one of our performers, and he's our Sputech guy. He's over here prepping his shit, is that correct? Poop for the Lady Gaga scene. That was the
It's the caca for Lady Gaga.
Scott's Crawl, spew slave for Gwar.
Yeah, this is the industrial strength food dye. It's comes in a powder form. Doesn't take much at all.
That might still be on the truck. And I don't know if
This stuff, this red is made from cherry pits, or cherry skins. The yellow is made from carrots. It's pulverized and sterilized and FD&C improved and all that good stuff. But for what I need for the poop, I just need the lightest dusting, not even a smidge, you know. And basic color, you put red, yellow, and blue together and make brown.
My job at the Slavepit is, you know, whatever project that I get thrown at. But usually just building the spew tanks, ordering dye, making the hoses, taking care of the compressor. It's just, that's my stuff.
both of them get pressurized by a compressor. We have a small compressor that we run backstage with us. We pressurize the tanks. There's about probably that much room to put air in, and then as the show goes down, it just keeps filling it up more exponentially. And then the more pressure we get, so the farther we can shoot. Today we don't want to shoot too far because our soundboard is like right there, so we don't want to hit the soundboard. So we're gonna dial it down on the pressure and go from there. But we have our this is our festival gauge. This is the bigger gauge. We lay the tanks on the sides, and it's pure volume that creates the pressure. So like when we have the regular show, we just keep to this diameter because we don't need to go like 40 feet or anything. Like this guy is the one that'll get us over the festival barricade. you know. So we usually hook up like the bile driver, which is a big spew cannon, and then there's our lead singer has a big dick that he spews on the crowd as well. So those ones, when they go through this, it's amazing. It's ridiculous.
A lot of the white com was
Creamer,
but I don't recommend it.
No.
No one knows what's in that stuff.
And I mean, yeah, it's like our girl in our band, Slavepit Inc, she used that as when we were allowed to do fire.
Oh, yeah.
She'd use it as if you aerate it, it catches on fire. So
Like a flower.
Yeah,
too,
it's crazy. So she would use we started getting the creamer for her instead of for the spew. So she started using it to catch it on fire. Pretty crazy. So yeah, that stuff is bad.
Yeah, it's like it solidified fats that just explode. And
Yeah.
also it's a bacteria trap. So
Yeah.
you always have to clean stuff. We've had
The tank smelled awful.
many crops that once we got home from tour using it the whole time, we cleaned them like with some bleach and all of a sudden found like a maggot colony in it.
So gross.
We've been putting this on our head. Oh,
And there's maggots in here.
Maggots, and they're going,
Yay.
The way we've dealt with, I guess we call it downsizing of the Slave Pit, has been, you know, I look at shows from back then and I really love the chaos, and I think that was pretty bananas. I don't know how the things we were trying to get across the audience obviously did not, you know, but as far as it being chaotic and fun, I really liked it. I liked more people contributing. I think we've lost a lot with less contributors, but it's happened as it's had to happen, you know. I mean, I think a lot of times we can do a lot more with a lot less. We've pushed ourselves, and in that sense, it's been a good thing.
It's definitely a lot easier. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't really want to go back to that old school way of it because it was too much. We really can't do the same show. The show has definitely developed. Like, I miss not having Sly Minstrel, having the girl element in the show, but I've been trying to work on a Gwar girl site to have a female aspect back in the show again. And I think that sheer madness of having at any given time 14 people in monster costumes running around on stage bleeding on the crowd must have been mind-blowing, you know.
That's hilarious. And also it afforded us opportunity to work with materials and learn how to use them that I wasn't getting at the sculpture school. That the VCU sculpture was more about theory and not craft. So.
Well, I'm working on 2 documentary projects about our group. A 26-year retrospective coffee table book, hopefully done in the next year, and then a documentary called The Dim Time about Gwar's first 3 years when no one had ever heard of them. When they were just an art collective in Richmond called Gwar's Dim Time. There's a Facebook page for that. If you like it, that'll be good.
Well, right now we've me and Bobby have started a company. We formed a company. Me and Bobby started Carotid Artistry, which is a haunted house costume fabrication company. We've got 2 main clients right now, but we're hoping within the next year or 2 to start being able to mass produce costume pieces. We kind of wanted to do our own thing to give Gwar a segue into being able to produce Gwar costumes and stuff like that for a bigger audience. But yeah, we do that, and then me and Bobby also through Carotid do freelance stuff, and through Slavepit we do freelance stuff. We just did the Blood Vomits, which was a side project that one of our old members, Davis Bradley, had started. And that was a Kickstarter project that it went really well. He's editing it right now. It's gonna be pretty funny. So this is the robot chassis right here. You know. So now gotta prep his gore effect. So he's got his heart gets ripped out, his arms get ripped off. So he spews out of both of those. So you'll see in a little bit, we'll go over by Scott and we'll show you the tanks that pressurize these. But yeah, usually I just pop his gore effect in like this. A little bit of gory meat for effect. And then I have a chest plate to make him look like he's all armored. And we got to the point now where Dave, our lead singer, he has these big rubber hands. So it's really hard for him to get the straps off. So now I just gaff tape it like here and here because it's just the easiest for him. He's trying with the big rubber hands to get this. You know, he just can't do it. So we just do the tape now. You gotta love what you're doing. You know, you can't just be here for the glory or whatever. It's like you really need to love doing this because it is a lot of hard work. we're just, I mean, we 24/7. This job is like, I've been pulling 60-hour weeks till we got here doing new costumes, because we're trying to have new costumes for the U.S. when we have these costumes will stay in Europe. So we'll have a set in Australia, we'll have a set in Europe, we'll have a set here. So eventually Gwar will be all over the world. Well, I've definitely taken some, my health has been not an issue. I've definitely had injuries.
Yeah, being thrown into weird situations, tight fits, bump my head every damn day, you know, just too tall.
We've all had injuries. We've had back problems.
In crummy clubs where there's no, you know, there isn't crap for like setting up or changing your costumes or getting back into your, you know, regular clothes, and you turn around and smash my eye on a fitting or a fixture and give myself like a iriditis for a week where I'm blind, you know, almost poking my eye out.
I'm on my 9th concussion. The last time the doctor was like, you should find another line of work, you know?
Break legs, break tailbone, break fingers, break hands, get smashed in the head, concussions, sent to the hospital. That's speaking for everybody. Throw out a back, have to go through training, you know, keep to morning exercises. Yeah, everyone has a bang, a bump or a bruise somewhere. Busted knuckles, pulling out fingernails, splinters in our fingernails. The list goes on.
And that's where I'm saying you gotta love it, you know, because it's such a physical thing. You're bound to get something. You know, I've got cuts and bruises on me, and it's only been a week and a half of tour.
It's truly the only thing that can afford us to be our own bosses. You know, we are running a corporation. And it's now worldwide. Places all over the place. They say in the mob.
Fuck you, you cautious fuck! Oh, ketchup is a vegetable, and so am I. But I'm right!
Well, I'm about to glue on the Queen's tits. They were also, I think, Sharon Osbourne's tits. Also, yeah. And if the hot glue is still going, it's really pretty easy. It's the way whenever we have detachable body parts and stuff, you use hot glue as a temporary kind of like, tack on. And yeah, she's kind of running a little cold, but then you just burn your finger a little bit, get it pretty much like that. Real funny thing is, when you're testing to see if it's hot and you go, ow, ooh, ow, ooh, ow, ow, ow. Yeah, but after a while, fingers toughen up to it. Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Now we gotta make sure the nipples are showing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it.
God save the Queen.